Welcome to SuperTalk, the podcast that scratches your superhero itch. Just two suburban dads nerding out over superhero stuff on the small screen and the big. Buckle up, people. Enjoy the ride. Welcome, YouTube. Professor like a gentleman. No computer today, huh?
No.
You're going to freewheel it, huh?
Yeah. Going commando, as they say in the business.
Nice. In the business? I don't know what business you've been running, but I love it. All right. In 3.
Welcome to SuperTalk, the weekly podcast dedicated to news and reviews of comic book media on the big and small screen. This is episode number 82. I'm your host, Brian Professor Pettis, and with me, as always, is my illustrious co-host, Titanium, Tony Estrella, Titanium.
A little slow week, but we got plenty to talk about, as usual.
A little slow week, but...
I mean, it's interesting how we turn on the mics and...
We're like, this will be a quick episode.
It's going to be a short episode. We don't got much to talk about. And the next thing you know, these two big mouths right here start blabbing, and it's like an hour later.
45 minutes later, we're like,
whoa, shit.
Let's get to the topic of the week already. My God. All right. Well, hey, we had a little bit of travel over this past weekend. Drove to Tennessee to move my daughter to college. I moved my son into Alabama, and then we drove back and
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Uh-huh.
Roll Tide.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be preseason number 1. I'm sure that will be something that's a point of contention in my household for the remainder of the season. But I did bring back a few things with me, and I want to, we'll call them set pieces, but.
We went to VCU and dropped off my son at VCU, and then this weekend we're going to JMU, drop off my daughter.
That time of year, folks. That time of year.
College kids heading back, thank God.
There we go. Well, so
holy shit!
Picked up a couple things. They had I was in Asheville, North Carolina. They had a Lunchbox Hall of Fame and the incredible poster shop or something like that. And they had a couple of cool things. So. We got our friend Spider-Man here. We're going to have to find a place for him.
I absolutely know where that's going. We're going to have to move some things around, but that's going up for sure.
I can't forget about my friend Titanium, and I know who his favorite character is here.
Look at that.
So that's pretty rough and tumble there.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love the big ear.
And then I had to pick up this other one because it was just too cool. Now, hopefully this comes through on YouTube.
Wow. Look at that.
It's Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man all in the same picture, depending on what angle you're looking at it. I was like, wow, that's like super cool.
Yeah, so hand me those two. I just want to put them closer to the camera so that we can kind of get a good shot of these. Wow, these are really cool. Cool posters. Check us out on YouTube podcast. You can see the posters, and next episode I will put them up. Awesome. These are awesome.
Yeah, so I brought those back. A little set piece, a little set decoration.
Decoration.
Anytime we find anything neat out there in the comic book industry, let's just.
Speaking of neat.
Yeah, be careful with that. I don't want to.
The scepter.
I don't want any of your family members all of a sudden being under my control.
The mind control.
Right,
channel.
Exactly. All right, well, let's jump into the show. Before we get started, we want to thank the patrons. These are the listeners that bring the show to you. Patreon.com/SuperTalk is how you connect to the patronship. You become a patron of the show. You donate $1 per episode, and then you're bringing the show to us directly. So Patreon.com/SuperTalk is how you become a member of the patron.
Very cool.
All right, well, let's jump into the review section. We did have a piece of new media that came out this week. I Am Groot, the digital shorts, were released on Disney Plus this past week. They were pretty short. And when I'm talking about short, they were like 5 minutes long each, right? There were 5 episodes of I Am Groot. Really kind of told the story of Groot, baby Groot. I'll say this is the time period between the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and before the end credit scene that was at the end of that movie where he was teenage Groot.
Right.
So this is before Infinity War.
He's still kind of baby Groot.
Right, so he was baby Groot through these whole things. And so we had 5 of them, and, they were very short, like I said, very quick. But
they're like 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes each. They weren't very long, but they were cute, fun. Kind of just give you a little bit insight in his personality and some of the things that he's been doing or thinking about since he became Baby Groot again. Right? I think the first episode was really his his immersion from the pot that he was in at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, the movie.
Yeah.
Where he
One of those scenes was him coming out of the pot.
Right, the first episode was him coming out of the pot, and then we kind of, progress a little bit more as he's becoming more and more, I guess, confident Baby Groot.
They were entertaining. They were cute. I won't watch them again.
No, me either.
No.
And I do think that they are planning on coming out with some more of these that are going to be telling some more of the Groot story before Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out next year. So we are going to get some more of these episodes. And again, they're just a little the last episode had Rocket in it. It was kind of interesting that he actually made and Bradley Cooper came back to voice Rocket. Had a little cameo there. But that was again, just something to pass the time.
It really was. I didn't. They were okay. That's all I'm going to say.
They were well done.
I was hyped up for them, and then after I watched all 5 in 10 minutes, I was okay.
Well, I don't think Vin Diesel needs to worry about making reservations for the Emmys this year, is what you're saying.
No, I'm surprised he even did it, but okay.
Well, he's under contract. Of course he's going to do it. But yeah, that was kind of... And you said you just started watching Sandman, which just came out on
Netflix. A lot of
Netflix,
people have been
right?
talking to me about that. Very confusing according to people that have seen it. And I'm in episode 1, so I'll give a full review once I'm finished with it.
Yeah, so that's a DC character that was made into a...
I know nothing about the comics, and he is a comic character for DC, and I know nothing about him. But I'm going to check out the show, and I'll give you my opinion.
All right, well, great. We'll look forward to that. Maybe next episode.
We got a surprise, don't we?
We do, and I want to speak to that. We did have some friends of ours over at Goodr Sunglasses. GOODR.com is how you connect to them on the internet. GOODR.com. You've heard us talk about them on the show before. Incredibly well-made sunglasses, $25 a piece. They're non-slip. They're Titanium's modeling a pair right now. They signed a licensing deal with Marvel. Big news over at Goodr. So
huge. Yeah, and these are the what did I?
Thor: Love and Thunder, but they're the Bifrost Bridge edition.
The Bifrost Bridge edition. Yeah, they're awesome. I absolutely love Goodr glasses. I bought like a handful of them. But yeah, we had our man in the streets, Timmy Spider. Was down in Greenville, South Carolina, and ran into Mike Mountain, and his title is...
Well, he's the senior vice president of operations, but he's the chief... No, he's the smooth operator is his official title. Smooth
his
operator.
Official title is smooth operator.
But Tiny Tim did a interview for us, which we're going to show right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Timmy Spider here. Live from Floor Field, where Mr. Mountain just did the first pitch. We're so excited for everything. We've got Mr. Mike Mountain here, who is the smooth operator for Goodr Sunglasses. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
Good. This is exciting for your family, right?
It's an incredible moment for everybody. I appreciate it, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome to watch him throw out the first pitch. He nailed it from the mound. Mike, I got a couple questions about Goodr. We are huge fans at SuperTalk. We are huge fans of Goodr's. Can you tell us a little about how the whole getting the brand for Marvel came down and how that went down?
Yeah, so in order to pull off a relationship like that, you need incredible people, and we have a team that's just unbelievable, headed up by Karen. We reached out to them and connected in a way, and we were able to make some unbelievable products over the last couple of years.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen the lineup. It is awesome. Go check it out, Goodr.com. Hey, what about any kind of upcoming plans? Maybe you could sneak us a little sneak peek for Goodr. Where are you guys doing? What's the next big thing for y'all?
Well, we always have new things coming out. I would say there's 120 to 130 SKUs that come out each and every year, but among those are a few models each year, and I will tell you that a number of people reached out to us and said, hey, I love the OGs, but they're a little bit big on my head. Do you have anything smaller? We didn't. And so now we have something that's going to cater to that market coming out next month, so I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome. They're great sunglasses. You haven't tried them. Well worth the investment. And then I'm going to ask you one final question here. What is your favorite superhero?
I got to go Batman all day. I mean...
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have Batman underwear?
Who doesn't?
all right. Back to you guys in the studio. Thank you. The SuperTalk Live, the nerd on the street. Yeah.
And for those of you on the podcast, come on back because we're back. Yeah. But yeah, we'll show Tiny Tim's interview there.
Thanks, Thanks, Timmy Spider. That was awesome. And Mike Mountain, appreciate you taking the time to do that interview. Great questions, Timmy Spider. You're the man. Thank you for being our man in the street. We appreciate it, and look forward to a lot more interviews from you, buddy.
That's right, and congratulations to you folks over at Goodr. That's an
awesome.
Exciting thing.
Love these.
And can't wait to see what else you come up with as the new Marvel properties come out. So they do have a whole line of Thor: Love and Thunder kind of themed sunglasses over there. So go check them out. GOODR.com.
Different Marvel sunglasses, but some of them are... not just Thor, Love, and Thunder, but some of them are great. So check them out. They got DC, and we've seen some of the DC ones, but now they have Marvel, which is cool.
That's awesome. All right, well, let's get into the rest of the news. We did see a couple of new trailers. The marketing engine behind She-Hulk is in full force. That premieres on Disney Plus later this week, which we'll be reviewing the premiere episode this weekend, coming when we do our next episode. But the marketing engine is continuing to churn. They have released a couple of new trailers, and actually they released, I'd say maybe like a 2-minute clip online of the incident that creates She-Hulk. We know that it was a car crash, but we were kind of wondering, well, how did the car crash happen?
How did it happen in the comics? Review that real quick.
Yeah, so she was being hunted by a mobster, and she ended up getting shot, and Bruce had to break into the home of a doctor and give her a blood transfusion. It was the only way that he could save her life. And that blood transfusion was what caused her to turn into She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, right.
We understand that there's a difference in the television show. They've changed that, and for some good reasons, I'm sure, plot reasons.
Well, they
but
showed
also
it in the trailer, right?
Right,
yeah.
And that's where we're seeing that 2-minute clip showed the car crash itself. And we now found out what caused the car crash.
Yeah.
Which was incredibly interesting.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't that look like one of the Grandmaster's spaceship?
It is the Grandmaster spaceship.
Oh, wow.
If you remember
from Sakaar.
Yeah, from Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah,
that was the spaceship that they hijacked when they were leaving Sakaar. They hijacked the Grandmaster spaceship.
And you think his son Hulking is in there? Could that be it, or no?
No.
What do you think? Who's in that?
I think it's the Grandmaster. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Wow.
I could be wrong. It's the Grandmaster or somebody from Sakaar, but it's somebody working for the Grandmaster.
I love Jeff Goldblum. If he's in this series, I'm going to freak out.
I don't know if he'll be in the series, but I think what they are doing is, for the fact that is the Grandmaster ship, they're definitely setting up a potential World War Hulk storyline or movie in the future. We got some other news this week specifically about the Hulk. Mark Ruffalo's been talking about, as he's been promoting the She-Hulk series, been talking about the future of the Hulk in the MCU, and some clever lawyers out there figured out that there's a 15-year clock that is going to expire in 2025 that's going to allow Marvel to make another Hulk movie without the kind of ties that they had to Universal Studios.
Wow.
So there's a lot of conjecture out there that an independent Hulk movie is coming in 2025. It might be one of those spots we didn't see released on the Phase 6 timeline that we were shown during Comic-Con.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and so World War Hulk would make a lot of sense. We won't go into too much detail about it on this episode, but the storyline, the reason why he ended up on Sakaar to begin with was because the Illuminati basically shot him into space. The shuttle he was on diverted because of an asteroid or something and landed on Sakaar, and he was forced to fight in the pits there and everything else.
The gladiator type thing, which was Ragnarok.
But he ended up getting married and had a child, and all kinds of other things came out of that. And so we're thinking that that may be something. And when he came back to Earth, he was pissed off. So it was definitely angry, hurt everybody Hulk when he came back. So, and I know a lot of the fans have been asking for that. So we'll see if that ends up happening. So,
well, I just want to see Hulk kick some ass. I'm tired of him getting his ass kicked. I mean, everybody like Thanos. He seems to get his ass kicked a lot, and I think it's time for Hulk.
Thor pretty much kicked his ass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. So that let's look forward to some more news about Hulk, and again, we're going to see a lot of Mark Ruffalo and the Hulk in the She-Hulk series, which will be great, and he's been fantastic. Man, the story on Ezra Miller keeps on coming. We discussed last week about the issues he's having, where he was potentially running some kind of cult, and some 18-year-old girl had basically filed suit against him for some lewd behavior or whatever.
Had a restraining order against him.
Oh my God! And
just a mess, a train wreck.
Well, he had been arrested twice, earlier this year in Hawaii. One for aggravated assault, and there was another charge. And then he just got arrested a couple of weeks ago on a felony burglary charge.
In Vermont or something?
Yeah, somewhere upstate New York, I think it was, or somewhere. He broke into a house and stole some alcohol. The house was unoccupied, and he broke in and stole alcohol out of this house. And, of course, the security cameras caught him doing it, and so he ended up getting arrested for that. Well, he finally came out and made a statement. He admitted he's dealing with some pretty serious mental issues and mental problems, and
complex mental issues.
Yes, and I said I'm getting some help. So he's finally now reached out. He's getting some counseling and some help for the mental challenges and issues that he's going through. And thank God, it's about time. I don't want to diminish the seriousness of mental health issues in this country. They are very serious, and the first part of that is admitting that you have a problem and doing something about it. So I'm glad he's done that. But in regards to the future, his future in the DCEU and the Flash movie, as we talked about last week, I think what we've heard is the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery has come out publicly and said, look, we're considering 3 options. Scrapping the movie entirely.
Yep, I heard that.
Keeping it as is. As long as
Ezra Miller
comes around and I think
I think that's the option they're going to go with.
Well, that seems like the path that they're on right now, with him going into recovery right now. Right. By the time this movie comes out middle of next year, he's kind of doing better and maybe raises some awareness about mental health issues and all kinds of other things that might be a positive. The other option is keep most of it as is, but make some substantial changes to the movie, specifically the latter part of the movie. And the post-credit scene specifically, and recast that person like immediately in the movie. Yeah. Like we talked about this last week, Titanium, that maybe Flashpoint happens, he goes back in time, all this crazy work stuff happens, he ends up fixing the timeline and coming back into our timeline, and when he comes back, it's a completely different actor playing the character. So maybe something like that happens.
They probably really should think about that.
Yeah.
I hear Warner Brothers Discovery is very close to nailing down their Kevin Feige.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And I think somebody that's in the running is the guy that kind of ran the Arrowverse and all the WB shows.
Greg Berlanti.
I think that would be... I was going to call him Peter Bongi, but I'm glad you know his name. I really don't think that's a good choice. I really don't think... Even though he had great success in the television and those series were hugely successful and popular... I don't think that's a good choice for some reason. I think you need more of a...
I completely disagree with you.
I think you need more of a comic book geek, somebody that really knows the movie production side as well as the business side of it. And I don't think he's the right choice, but who am I? It sounds like they're going to move forward with him.
Yeah, I completely disagree with you. I think he's done incredibly well with what he was given to work with. Keep in mind that he was limited to the characters that he had access to and the stories he could tell. So DC and Warner Brothers had basically put some shackles on him when he created the Arrowverse and saying, you have access to these heroes, you have access to these villains, you can't use anybody outside, you can't do any of this other stuff, you can't reference even these other characters, you can't reference the Justice League, you can't reference,
Batman.
Right. So he was restricted, and what he was given, he did the most he could with. He even created a television show from scratch called Legends of Tomorrow with just piecemeal characters that he could pull off comic book pages and put into a television show, and that show did very well for many years. I think that given the full breadth of the DC comic book universe and the budget that they would have for movies, I think he could do a great job.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, I think,
but I think it's a different beast.
Well, but I also say that I don't know who the other candidates could be or potentially would be, and we don't know any of that. But I think if that was their choice, I would not be unhappy with it.
Yeah.
I would. If they put some random person off the streets, I'd be like, whoa, that's a problem. But this guy, at least he's been involved. He's been working with the company for years. Or promote
somebody within that's been working with them. I mean, there's a guy now that's tied to the Aquaman and Black Adam that they're kind of considering. And I think you clean house, man. You get rid of all of that, You just clean house. It's like, restore the Snyderverse. Come on, guys. Let's move on from that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Snyderverse. I thought that was a great vision. I liked the direction it was going. Man of Steel, we both agree. That was one of our favorite movies. Great vision. Way to move it forward. He kind of got his wings clipped with Justice League. I felt bad. A lot of outstanding circumstances kind of conflicted with that. But these rabid fans that came on and was like, restore the Snyderverse, and then they came out with the 4-hour, which was great. I really liked it a lot, but man, you just got to move on. I think you clean house and move on.
We'll see where they're going with it.
Yeah.
We don't know. But Ezra Miller, hey, best of luck, dude. I hope you get your stuff back together.
Yeah, I hope you get the help that you need.
I want that movie to be made, and I want it to be successful because it's one of my favorite characters. So let's make it happen.
Is your favorite character?
In DC,
yes.
For sure. We did get some early behind-the-scenes photos from the filming of the Loki 2 season. That did just start filming here this
month. Believe it or not, I did not see those. I haven't seen them.
Wow.
I know.
Were you on the gray web this week?
I don't know.
You weren't on the dark web?
Oh, I was very busy. I didn't have time to do all
Yeah,
this
so we got a couple of... it really was just maybe a, 10-second clip of them filming a couple scenes for the television show. It was Tom Hiddleston, doing some scenes out in front of
I saw it in McDonald's. I saw some shots. Him and Sylvie were in a McDonald's.
Yes, that has come out before as well. But this particular scene was him in front of a jet ski store. So
Love it.
We think we're finally going to see.
Love it.
The Mobius, getting his jet ski, moment, and that would be awesome.
The fans were so upset last.
I know when we didn't
the
see
last
the
episode.
moment.
You didn't see that moment. They talked about it the whole series, and you didn't see anything about it after that.
They knew they were having a season 2. They knew they were saving it, so that's great. Look, we do have some more industry insiders talking about Marvel making a huge announcement about the Fantastic Four movie at D23. There was a lot of speculation as to whether or not they had the time to do the casting and pick a director and all this other stuff before D23. And considering this movie is 2 years away, at least, the 2024 on the calendar as it stands today, they were like, well, this is way too early. They're not going to be ready for this. A lot of industry insiders are now saying this is going to happen. We are going to get casting announcements for the Fantastic Four to include the director and the cast. Can't wait.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it's all true, but I can't wait. I mean, you just have to know that they're going to make some big splashes at D23.
I have a feeling it's a director coming from Disney Plus. I think it's a director that they've used in Disney Plus shows, so we'll see.
All right.
Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But, speaking of D23, it's a Saturday, which is September 10th, correct?
Right.
Wow, that's interesting because September 11th at Bear Chase Brewery, we're going to do our live recording of SuperTalk podcast. So come on out. It's 11:45 at Bear Chase Brewery in beautiful, gorgeous Belmont, Virginia.
Bluemont.
Belmont? Bluemont, Virginia. Come out, have a beer on SuperTalk, and we talked about that, right? We're gonna have an open tab for our people, our fans that come and watch the podcast. The first beer's on us. Don't go nuts, but have a beer on us and come watch the podcast, and then enjoy some live music and watch the NFL if they have it there. But that's the first day.
11:45, I think, is showtime.
Yep, 11:45. We got to get up, kick off at 11:45. We can't be late because the music starts shortly after we clear out.
Awesome. Yeah, we can't wait to see you guys there. So and again, we'll be talking about D23 and Disney Plus Day the entire show, I'm sure.
Exactly.
That will be
That'll be the day after. I mean, that will consume that show.
Right. And we'll be up the whole night before, like going through all of our notes.
I don't know about that. I'm going to be drunk.
Even better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, another thing I saw this week, which was encouraging and caused a lot of speculation on the internet, was RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., was asked, hey, have you ever talked to Marvel or even considered coming back someday in some kind of role or capacity as Tony Stark? And he said, never say never. And for years after Endgame, he had basically said, look, I did everything I could with the character. My days of playing that character are done. They're over. Time to move on and do other things in my career. 2-3 years later, a global pandemic, all kinds of other things happened. And he says, never say never. And now there's enormous speculation that we're going to get the computerized AI version of Tony Stark in the Ironheart series.
Interesting.
Very similar to what is in the comics. So in the Ironheart comic books, Tony Stark is basically the Jarvis of Ironheart.
Oh, that'd be cool shit.
Yeah. And so having Tony Stark as kind of holographic AI for the Ironheart character would be Riri Williams, having that Tony Stark to kind of mentor, would be, and it would be a way for him to come back, but not fully come back and have to wear makeup and, be on set and all kinds of other things.
Every once in a while, show a hologram of him every once in a while, maybe 1 or 2 episodes.
Right, but then it's
the rest
mostly
is his
voice.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So a lot of speculation about that, and I hope the hell it happens. That would be incredible. It would break the internet.
It would not only break the internet, they would catapult that show into the stratosphere.
Right, absolutely. And I think these secondary side characters, we know Riri Williams and Ironheart are going to be in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I don't know how much or what kind of role she's going to be playing in that movie, but, getting her own series, again, one of our fears about, Ms. Marvel was, can a young, relatively unknown actress carry a series? And I think we proved not really.
No, not in Ms. Marvel.
So we would be concerned with
great
Ironheart.
Actress, really fun, but that show, have you seen lately the internet? If anybody says anything in social media bad about Miss Marvel, they attack you. Like, oh, you're a racist and you don't understand Muslim America and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, just because you don't like a show, you get attacked. It's kind of like, it's crazy as the Restore the Snyderverse people that you say something about, DC and stuff like, oh, you don't understand Snyder. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? What are you doing? I mean, it's nuts. And there's this whole little army out there that protects Miss Marvel like viciously online. It's crazy. Listen, people, get over it. The show sucked. I mean, she's cute. She's a great actress. But the show was sloppy and disconjected and it wasn't good. There were maybe 1 or 2 episodes that were decent, but.
And that's not a slight on the culture. That's not a slight on the actress.
No,
that's not a slight on the show. Just wasn't done well.
It's like, it doesn't matter what you do. Tell a good story, and that's the most important thing. It can be culture. It can be diversity. It can be, whatever you need it to be. But just tell a good story. It wasn't a good story.
Amen, brother.
Mm-hmm. Titanium preaching up here.
Yeah, exactly. You might want to get down off that pulpit before we move forward. We did see some kind of speculation as well about Sony, so we're getting some more and more information about this Madam Web movie that's coming out.
If what I'm hearing is true, that's a great story.
Well, I want you to tell the audience what you've heard, but again, one of the things that people are now speculating about is that we may get our own version of Spider-Man in the Sony universe that's different than our version of Peter Parker,
yes.
Tom Holland, that's in the MCU.
Okay.
and there's lots of speculation. Are they recasting another Spider-Man to play that Peter Parker character in an alternate universe or whatever in the Sony universe? Are we going to get Miles Morales? Are we going to get, what are we getting? So what else have you heard?
Well, what I've heard is just based on the casting, and it seems to be coming together. They casted a very young guy to play Peter Parker's father. They casted Emma Robertson and
Emma Roberts.
Emma Roberts as Mary Parker, Peter Parker's mother, who's apparently pregnant. And apparently, the storyline, the rough storyline rumor is that there are entities coming to kill Peter Parker before he's born and attack.
So it's like the Terminator.
It's the Terminator storyline, and Madam Web and her Snyderverse come to help protect Mary Parker to keep Peter Parker from dying before he's even born, which would kind of be badass, to be honest with you. They could bring in
basically Terminator
in the Snyderverse.
Yeah. Sarah Connor, I'm here to kill you.
Peter Parker, I'm here to kill you.
Peter Parker, so Mary Jane, Mary Parker, you're carrying the Spider-Man in your womb. I'm here to kill you.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be back.
I think that sounds kind of cool. I don't know, but I think that would be kind of cool.
Interesting storyline.
All these Spider-Verse people bringing in.
So we're going to get like Spider-Ham and Spider-Noir.
No. I think it's all going to be female cast. I think they're going to be, Spider-Gwen, I think Spider-Woman, obviously Madam Spider. I think we're going to get that whole crew.
That'd be cool. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, more and more is coming out about that. But again, I think there's also some speculation that Miles Morales will be making his way into some kind of Sony Universe project very shortly as well.
That would be to bring him in from before Peter Parker was even born, from another universe would be kind of cool, because then they could bring him in later.
And speaking of the Sony universe, I mean, I don't know if it was you, but I think it was a friend of the show, Greg Vire. I think he was telling me that he heard in an interview that Aaron Taylor Johnson came out and said, the Kraven the Hunter you guys are hoping is going to be in this movie, that guy's in the movie.
Yeah.
That guy is in the movie.
Apparently he came out and said I was misquoted.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a naturalist, and I love animals, and I want to protect animals so I can hunt them. Okay, now I'm back on board. If that is true, I'm back on board. Because this environmentalist, protector of animals, that's not Kraven the Hunter.
Here's what I'm going to tell you.
That's Jane Goodall.
Sony cannot afford to have another stinker. After Morbius, I mean, I didn't think Morbius was a stinker. I just didn't think it was very good.
Right.
Venom 2, not very good. Morbius, not very good. We're going to get Kraven the Hunter next spring. I think March timeframe, I think, right? Okay. That better be good.
Yeah.
Because people are not going to be looking forward to going into the theater to see Madam Web if that stinks.
Yeah, I agree.
The one I feel very confident about being very good is the Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 or whatever that's coming out.
The animated show?
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be off the charts.
Yeah, but
the first one was
different.
So good.
That's different than live action.
I know, but it's still Sony.
It was really good.
It's still one of my favorite Spider-Man movies ever, I think, Into the Spider-Verse.
They should put those guys in charge of the live action shows.
Right. All right, well, let's jump into our topic of the week this week.
Sir.
Brought to us by our friends over at Studio GG Studios. And Tim, thanks again for the interview. But Studio G.
Spider Tim. Thank you, sir. Home of the Man Band, Corn on the Cob.
Yeah, go visit them. Please check out their YouTube page in our show notes. We really appreciate everything they do for our show. So I wanted to do a little more primer for the She-Hulk series this week. As a matter of fact, in all the time I spent in the car over the last few days, my wife was, so what is this She-Hulk thing? What's going on? I kind of explained to who Jennifer Walters is. We did that a couple episodes ago. We did a preview of Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk. And so I was like, well, let's also talk about the other characters we know are going to be in this show and who they are, if they have a comic book history, what that is, and then kind of where we've seen them in the MCU, if we've seen them before. So we'll talk through that a little bit. We absolutely know that Bruce Banner, the Hulk, is going to be in the show. We've seen it in the trailers multiple times.
Jennifer Walters' cousin,
right? Mark Ruffalo playing that role. Right, it's Jennifer Walters' cousin and the source of her powers as She-Hulk. And again, in the comics, very different how she got those powers versus what we think is going to happen in this television show. But we're probably going to see that. I think it's highly likely that the premiere episode on Thursday is going to be that origin story of her getting her powers, right? And maybe that whole training montage and everything else. Maybe we'll get that first.
A lot of insiders and a lot of reviewers and geeks, super geeks, were privy to the first 4 episodes.
Oh, you got it.
I did not.
Oh.
No, unfortunately.
We missed the invitation again.
Always. I don't know if it's in my spam or what. I need to check my spam more often.
Right.
I'm sure it's there.
Come on, Marvel.
Yeah, I'm sure it's there. Anyway, the embargo stopped today, so they could reveal no spoilers, but they could talk about their first feelings towards it. And overall, it's very good. Go into this thinking fun, funny, silly, kind of an Ally McBeal kind of courtyard thing, and you will enjoy it. If you go into this thinking it is a superhero kind of Moon Knight type of show, or Loki or WandaVision, you're going to be disappointed. This is a completely different genre. It's a comedy, a law comedy kind of series.
Yeah, it's Ally McBeal, Boston Legal. It's supposed to be, and I think it's very much like Ally McBeal. It's much more about Jennifer Walters and her life as a lawyer versus
her life as a
the law.
Yeah.
No. Versus the law.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is it's not going to be Law and Order. If you're expecting to walk in every episode and have a entire case be reviewed and see it tried, no, they're focusing on Jennifer Walters, the character.
Yeah.
And there will be some legal stuff in there, but I think it's very much gonna. It's supposed to be a comedy, right? And we'll see how that is.
Yeah. We're gonna review the shit out of that. I'm sure.
So anyway, obviously Hulk's in this.
Wait, can I ask you a question off topic?
Yeah.
Is the Dragon show Sunday?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Premieres Sunday.
Game of Thrones.
22nd.
The 12th, right?
21st. Yeah. No. What do you mean 12th?
What? It's a 21st.
21st.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure. So I got She-Hulk Thursday, and then I got Game of Thrones on Sunday.
Right.
Oh man, what a weekend.
All right, sorry for this side, folks. The Abomination, Emil Blonsky, played by Tim Roth, he's back. He was in the Incredible Hulk movie, the now famous movie, because we had an Edward Norton version of the Hulk that was recast as Mark Ruffalo, but he was in that. It was the big bad in that movie. He's back playing the same character. Last time we saw him in the MCU, as a matter of fact, was in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
He was in the fight pit in, was it Thailand or something? Hong Kong. Yeah, fighting Wong.
And they're buddies.
And they're friends. So we know we're going to get, and we saw in some of the trailers, we get the human version of Emil Blonsky. We also get the Abomination version of his character.
He's some kind of self-help, self-improvement type of guru now, which is
we'll see. That'll be very interesting to see what he's up to. So yeah, he's in that. Wong seems to be in everything now. I think he's earmarked for every Marvel project from this point going forward. So
I need to make T-shirts. You can't go wrong with Wong.
Right.
I mean, you can't.
He's awesome.
He's awesome.
He's awesome.
He's like Dr. Selby. I mean, really, if you think about it, he kind of saved the world several times.
Well, I think he's definitely taken over as there were a number of characters in the earlier, we'll say the first 3 phases of Marvel that had these little cameos, right? We had Nick Fury, seemed to cameo in everything, right? He did that kind of early on.
Yep.
And then we had Dr. Selvig, seemed to be in everything, right? He cameoed. And then we had
Agent, what's his name?
Yeah, the guy who was in Black Panther and Civil War, and I know who you're talking about. Yes. And who's going to be in, I think he's going to be in the new Black Panther movies as well. Yes, he was yes, there have been these cameo characters. Wong is now the new cameo character. I mean, he was in Shang-Chi. He was in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. He's now going to be in this. I love Wong. I think he's fantastic.
Agree.
He has good comedic chops, and for a comedy like this. And who knows? I think he ends up becoming a client.
I love him as a recurring character.
I think he becomes a client of Jennifer Walters. So that'll be interesting to see why he's a client.
Cool.
But yeah, so he's in this. Nikki Ramos is a character played by Ginger Gonzaga. It's Jennifer's best friend as well as a co-worker. From what I understand, she has absolutely no history in the comics. The character was made up for this show. But from what I understand...
Very funny.
Yes, very funny, and she is all about Jennifer becoming the She-Hulk. She's like, she wants her to be the She-Hulk all the time. And she's like a little jealous of her, but also like, you got to embrace this girl. You know, this is awesome.
Kind of a smoke show, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so. Titania, played by Jamila Jamil.
Now let's talk smoke show. This woman is stunning.
Yeah.
She's an absolute exotic smoke show. I might just watch this whole thing for her.
Well, there you go.
Where'd
You
she
heard it
come
first.
from?
I don't remember. I don't remember where she came from. She had
No,
been
Titania.
Oh, so
The-
Titania. Well, she's got a
Which,
long.
by the way,
history.
you called me Titania at one episode. I was a little offended, but you know what? I'm okay with my sexuality. I'm okay in my own
I confused
skin.
my pronouns. I'm
You're
sorry.
Fine. You're fine. Call me whatever you want. I've been called worse. But she's a smoke show.
Yeah, but
where
she's
in
a
the
long-
comics did she come from?
Well, as a matter of fact, she debuted in the original Marvel Secret Wars back in the late '80s, early '90s. She was in that Secret Wars run. She got her powers. She was just a normal person that kind of wanted to get out from underneath being abused and picked on and all kinds of other things. And she's like, "Oh, I need to become a superhero." And long story how she got her powers, but Battle World, when the Beyonder created it, picked up like the hometown that she lived in, so that's how she got kind of caught up in Battle World.
Oh, wow.
And she ended up running into Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom offered to turn her into a superhero, give her superpowers, and use some of the technology that was on the Beyonders. The Battle World area, and you know, basically gave her super strength, and she doubled her size. She became this tall, huge, buxom, you know, a person who had super
Kind of
strength.
like She-Hulk.
Yeah, very much so. And she's been I would say an adversary of She-Hulk for some time in the comic books. Yes, an antagonist for She-Hulk for a number of years. So
Nice.
she's been around for a long time. So
Interesting.
it'll be interesting to see how they treat that character in this. And she's teased at Jamila Jamil has teased that there's a possibility that we may see her again in something like the Thunderbolts.
Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. I'd love it. I'd love to see more.
We'll
of
see,
her.
and I think a lot of that has to do with how well she's received in this series. So so we'll see how that works
Okay,
out.
good. Interesting.
And then we know, based on some of the trailers as well, that Matt Murdock, Daredevil, our friend Charlie Cox, is back playing that character again. We last saw him in Spider-Man No Way Home. So we saw him in that little kind of cameo scene. So we know he's back in that role as that character.
Again, if you think you're going to get the Netflix Daredevil in this series, you're not. He's going to be lighthearted. It's going to be comedy. It's going to be very light and silly. I don't think you're going to get this hardcore, serious type of guy that's going after Kingpin. I think it's going to be much, much lighter, much more sillier.
Well, but the fact he's in it, and the
huge.
fact that he's going to be playing some role,
Yeah.
I think both roles. I think he's going to be playing a lawyer as Matt Murdock, and I think he's also going to be playing Daredevil to some extent, doing something.
Well, we saw Daredevil in
Right.
the clip, so.
But I mean,
he's Daredevil.
I'm just so looking forward to him
Yeah,
being
me
back,
too.
and just more than a 5-minute scene. It's going to be great to see
Yeah.
him. So that's going to be great. And then we've been promised. We don't know many details, and there haven't been any leaks or anything yet, thankfully. But there's going to be a lot of other cameos in this series, and supposedly there's one every week. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we're going to get some more cameos.
Well, we know
across
some
this whole series.
obscure superheroes. She's going to be defending these super-powered individuals, and we saw a few clips of some.
But we
different
may be
types of
surprised at some of the actors who are playing them.
Frogman and that. Oh,
right.
that'd be cool.
That's some other things that I've heard.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so
big name stars in for a little cameo.
potentially some cameos
Cool.
there. But I believe it's a 9-episode series. Correct? Am I right there? I think it's 9 episodes.
I'm a mess, to be honest with you.
I think
but
it is.
believe
But
so.
so hey, this premieres this coming Thursday on Disney Plus. I believe at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, midnight Pacific Time on Thursday. So we'll be watching it and we'll be reviewing it during our next episode.
Cool. Thanks, Professor. That's a great breakdown and a precursor to the show.
Yeah,
So, I appreciate it. I feel like I've gained a lot of knowledge. Well, speaking of knowledge, that's what you do in school. And the bell has rung, Professor. School is over.
All right, well, that's it for us this week. We'll be back next week for more Super Talk. To get in touch with us on social media, hit us up via email, supertalkpodcast@outlook.com or at supertalkpod on Twitter. Until then, stay super, everyone.
And we're out. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, YouTube.
Thanks, Timmy Spider.
Everyone likes this game. Haters gonna hate. And I know you can't wait to see the Black Viper. Round and round she goes. Hardly no one knows. In her black pantyhose. Black Viper.